Hello and welcome to another episode of the podcast for the recently deceased. I'm Nate Roberts.
I am Rodney Godek. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well. And the reason I'm
Whew.
doing so well, the reason I'm doing so
Why?
well is because we're
Tell me.
talking about Talk to Me. This movie, all expectations blown out of the water. We've said it a dozen times. We might have even said it 1,000 times. 2023, the worst year for horror in forever. Um, Talk to Me has my hopes up. Maybe the end of the year we can get a couple more gems out of this out of this season. Something
Abysmal
so
season
Bizzle,
of
yeah,
horror.
just
Yeah.
terrible. But yes, so I'm glad to be here with you to talk about Talk to Me.
Yeah, man. I'm also equally stoked. This is interestingly enough, a lot of people. This has been a very impactful movie, very seemingly formative for a lot of people's horror movie journeys. And some people even saying in a similar fashion to the way that Hereditary might have been. So we're going to find out if that kind of praise or accolade is worthy. So talk to me. When a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. Written and directed by the Filippo brothers, Danny and Michael of YouTube and Aussie fame. Primarily written by Danny with Bill Hinsman and Daley Pearson, starring Ari McCarthy, Amish Phillips, Kit Arrett Bruce, and a handful of other seemingly unknowns. Yeah, man, talk to me. A movie produced by one of the greatest in part, or at least released by, maybe not completely financed by. This was their own movie. A24 bought the rights. This movie was made by these gentlemen, and it was shopped after festival acclaim. And A24 got their grubby hands on it because they know a goddamn gem when they see one. Um, I'm not talking to you, Tilda Swinton, in your piece of shit movie, but all the other ones, yes. So let's get into it, brother. I can't remember the name of that garbage, but we're not going to mention it. We are not going to rain on Talk to Me Parade.
All right. Ever watch a horror film that's more than just jump scares? Enter Talk to Me. This Australian gem caught me off guard, blending the raw emotions of loss with classic horror. Right from the get-go, there's a moment with an embalmed hand which is the catalyst for terror throughout the film. Such a powerful metaphor for our grip on the past. Mia's journey, as depicted by Sophie Wilde, tore right through me. It's an agonizing dance with the supernatural, a longing to hear from those gone. Miranda Otto's presence really lingers, blurring the line between what's real and what's a haunting illusion. There's a dreamlike quality to the film that is both unsettling and mesmerizing. Sometimes it stumbles, losing its pace, but it shines when questioning our memory's reliability, especially in grief. By the end, what you're left with is haunting and introspective. This isn't just any other horror film. It delves deep, challenging not just your fears, but your very perceptions. A well deserved 8 out of 10.
Excellent. Excellent. So, gosh, how can I add to it, Nate? I'll tell you. Um, Talk to Me is uh, such a comforting experience to have gone through, considering what we've been through as brothers watching films this year in horror. Uh, so refreshingly made, shot, and written. It really did bring back the passion for the genre that we have, I think, in a really awful year. All of the themes that you kind of mentioned, I'll just reiterate. Well, maybe you not didn't mention specifically, but grief, absolutely. Ruminations on grief, uh, youth and its allure or need, vapidness with social media, but then also with drug use. everything that's going on in this film has these tones and saturation of metaphor and meaning that you don't absolutely have to be eating up and processing. But I guarantee you, by the end of the film, with the way that it's paced and the way that it's shot and executed, that all of these things are now presented to you, that you can spend hours upon hours of conversing with someone in your life that's shared this experience with you, of just dissecting the movie. And it will be as satisfying as watching it. Rewatching it will be even more satisfying, noticing things and re-experiencing things, sharing the experience of the first watch with someone new to see their reaction to some of the events, uh, is all hits so much harder and is more fulfilling a second time because it's all just presented near pitch perfect, uh, in a year that was just so desperate for something like this to occur. Uh, I loved everything about the movie. Agree with maybe some of the pacing, but ultimately agree with your final score. And this is going to be once in a blue moon we get this, and I'm also in alignment here with an 8 out of 10 for Talk to Me.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just say right now that we're going right into spoilers.
Yeah, highly
Sophie,
recommend to watch
yeah,
this. Do
yeah,
not listen to
no,
us without
yeah,
having seen it.
right. If you haven't watched the movie, turn it off now. Um, this is a treat from 2023 that you don't want ruined. Um, Sophie Wilde, uh,
Yeah,
she was amazing. Just phenomenal performance. I just the end of the movie is just like right in my head right now, and it's just
yeah,
I can't get rid of that last like 5 seconds.
sure.
It
I
was so
mean,
good.
yeah, I think that her character and the way that she's dealt with all the emotions that she's going through, the grief that she's processing, finding this seeming connection through this insane circumstance, a horrific circumstance that she now feels like she's the only one that can see the reality, but everything's clouded and confusing. There's a bit of the unreliable narrator that you're experiencing a little bit, and that can kind of keep pulling you in different ways where you're not sure. But she carries it. The weight of all of that stuff that has to be communicated. Yes, Sophie Wilde is a star for leading us into this movie.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Um, and then as I mentioned, the Miranda Otto, just
What a nice touch to see her in there.
yeah, yeah. Like I don't think I've
Eowyn,
Eowyn, yeah. I don't think I've
I
seen her
am no
since.
man.
I don't think I've seen her since Lord of the Rings. And there she
We've
was,
had one talk to me. Yes.
and yeah, it was. I mean, she was great too. Just an excellent cameo. Um,
Hmm. Yeah, man.
so
Adelaide,
yeah,
Australian, the town
yeah,
that they're shooting and takes place in.
yeah. So A24 all day. We love A24.
Hmm.
The Heredity parallels between like the family
Yeah.
drama. It's the little brother is the one who's afflicted in Hereditary. It's the younger sister who gets decapped by the telephone pole. Which I mean, I love Hereditary, but I just like that sequence I always thought was funny. I didn't really I
Yeah.
was, I just was, you know, we all watch horror movies for different reasons.
Yeah, you're the asshole in the movie theater. Like, oh my god, that was funny.
Yeah. Do you see
Everyone's like, oh my god,
the telephone pole hit her right in
who's
the
that guy? He
face?
laughed at that scene. Ruined the movie for everyone in the theater.
Yeah,
No, yeah, I hear you. I mentioned it just because I had heard or I'd seen a few people on the Reddit talk about it in those kinds of terms. That for some
yeah,
of them, and they're all at different paths in life, as when they're encountering these movies,
sure.
for whatever reason, their age and everything, when they saw this, it seems to have had that weight that a movie like Hereditary for people a few years younger or older at this point
I,
also had. I
I,
think that's fair.
I don't mean to trash Ari Aster in any way. Uh, here, but
Let's wait until we talk and watch Beau is Afraid, and then we will
I but
determine Ari
but
Aster's fate.
but I thought Talk to Me was a little better than Hereditary. I mean, Hereditary is a
Oh, sure.
it's a great movie, and everybody like
Word?
yeah, a lot of people put it on like scariest movie of the last 10 years lists, and
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
it was good, but I don't
Hmm.
know how if it was that good. Like I think
Sure.
Midsummer was better too. Like
Mm.
Hereditary did what it did. It just did it really slowly.
Mm.
Like it
More.
had a
Yeah.
it had a very excellent and impactful third act, but acts one and two
Sure.
were just like, oh come on, just get it over with.
Yeah, the grief and the dread of things, they really do slowly let it seep in. I enjoyed the build of it, but sure, I understand that gripe.
I'm right there with you on slow burns. It was just a
Hmm.
little too slow for me. And you've got Gabriel Byrne in the movie, and he didn't really do much. And you want him to really chew up some scenery, and he didn't. Which is it's fine. The I can never remember the mother, her actor her name, but
Tony Collette.
Toni Collette. Yeah, she's fantastic in everything she
She's
does.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure, but that was an amazing performance. The dinner
Yes. No.
scene,
No. I. Yeah.
the horror community has agreed that that's the hill they're dying on as far as why horror doesn't get nominated like that should have been nominated for an
Sure.
Academy Award of some sort. So look, talk to me.
Talk to me. Yeah. Back to talk.
I
Sorry.
can't.
Sorry to digress.
You're fine. The digressions are obviously a nice change of pace. You can't. I think it's just it's crazy to think of these guys being YouTube stars and then having this idea, and just it. I love how it reinforces indie cinema, indie films. Like if you have an idea, if you write things a certain way and you just work really hard to try to get things out there, because it's not as if these guys were incredibly wealthy or anything. Like they took a lot of their resources and knowledge, they lived the life. They put themselves on film crews and other things so that they could be a part of sets and learning the ins and outs, and it helped get them to a situation where they could go to connections to help make this film. uh but it was all the passion of everything of doing it that really got it to become what it was. It's all of them. And everything about the the subtext of everything that's happening, I think, is just so prescient with today. The social media aspect, I think, is amazingly well tucked in there. That this event is occurring at a party,
Yeah.
and you try to we can't put ourselves in the shoes of an 18-year-old anymore.
Right.
We can't really picture that, really, how it feels at this day and age. But the way that it is presented does to me seem legit, that this is what these dumb little bastards would do when confronted with something of this
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
unlikely
It
and
would.
unrealistic
Yeah.
situation.
They'd
They would
make it.
be
Yeah. They'd make it a web
live
show. Of
streaming it
course. Of
and make
course.
it a joke.
Yeah. Absolutely. And
100% seems like what would actually happen.
And whereas we've seen a lot of horror in the last couple of years take social media as a catalyst,
Yeah.
this
Cancel
this
me, bro. Cancel me,
yeah
Leatherface.
this movie didn't. It said we're going to use social media as something that happens every day in our lives because it
Yeah.
does, but we're not going to make the entire crux of our story, balance on the fact that I have a web series or that I'm a
Right. Oh,
podcast
sure.
host or
Yeah. The
that
behind the scenes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
All of
so
that's been
so yeah.
done.
So like as
Looking at
soon
you
as I saw
hatching.
the YouTube, I was like, oh no, I was a little scared, but
Right.
then
That it might
but
will
I was
actually have it. But it
very
really is just in the
yeah,
background.
yeah.
And
I was
it's there
very
for
happy
you
where it ended up. Yeah,
to bring in and to inform. It's there to kind of have a way to like to access or to understand the naivete of the characters. This they don't know. They have no there's no fear of death because they're still babies. They have no idea what life is about. They don't
right.
know all of the awful horrors that are about to befall them in a couple years. There's still this innocence of it, and
They don't know
that nothing
anything
bad can happen.
about foot fetishes.
Mia was, I don't know, sucking my feet.
For sure.
And if you've seen the
Yeah,
movie, you know
kudos.
exactly what I'm talking about.
Kudos to the fucking geniuses apparently at Online Ceramics and A24 thinking that merch with some of those scenes from the movie is something anyone wants to have. They've really jumped the shark on all of their merch. Okay. Now, the fan art that I've made that is available on Tees, I think is actually well executed and is kind of cool and subtle nod to the movie to kind of enjoy it more. It's not this like just shock value. I'm not going to walk around with a t-shirt of this little kid's face beaten up, and that's what they've
That's
done. It's
yeah.
crazy.
Uh,
The social media is great. The parallels, the other parallel, you've already mentioned, but the drug parallel, I also am so hooked on. Like, and they experience the hand and that whole thing as a drug. They're
right.
partying, they're getting high,
Yeah.
and that's part of what fuels this experience. And that allegory to actual drug use and what it does to a person or could do to a person that is you
Addicted.
know
Yeah. Yeah.
addicted or just has those indicators that are susceptible to turning it into a really bad behavior in life, that's going to take you down the wrong path,
Yeah.
or like it does with Mia.
Yeah.
All of that, it's also perfectly laid out and presented. It all works. There's nothing that's wrong about any of those decisions.
Yeah, I mean, I would go so far as to say as Mia definitely takes like an addiction kind of
Yes.
line, and then you have the boy, the little brother who has the same, you know, he's got the curiosity,
Hmm.
he's got the oh let me try it, and
They're
she's
doing it
like
in
she's
front
like
of him.
and
He
she's
sees
like
how fun it is.
they're like okay, but instead of the full dose, we're gonna give you a half a
Yeah.
dose. And then of
Yeah.
course it's accidentally too much, which we've seen before, but like,
But oh my god, dude,
yeah.
can we talk about the way that happens? Like everything about that scene, that leading up to that scene,
Oh
the
yeah,
way that, as a viewer, the dread of it. Oh my
yeah,
god, the second watch, dude, I was actually sick to my stomach because I felt so bad. Like, and I was watching it with my wife, and she doesn't do well with a lot of stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, this is actually really fucking heavy.
yeah. But that scene was just incredible. I was on the edge of my seat during that. I think that scene was the height of tension for the movie. After that,
Yeah.
it's a little more
Sure.
action
Well, and
paced.
and the best part about it is that they do that montage right before it. The montage is high energy, the party, and I've got inside information. Well, I've watched a goddamn interview with the directors and they talk about it plainly. But it's still fucking cool to think about that they shot that relatively abbreviated and quick. They had all the actors. They were playing that soundtrack, which everyone that's now doing TikToks or Grams is using the Richard Mont Lamond. It's this old French song that he's remastered and remixed to make modern.
Okay.
That song is everywhere now, and it's because of this movie. They were playing it in the background while they're shooting all the scenes, so everything that's choreographed is to the beat of the music because they're all listening to it, knowing that this is going to be the montage scene, and they're partying and they're just doing it real quick and just flying around, doing all these shots and all these takes and just quick, 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 like this event that occurred in a very finite period of time, and it's so amazingly well executed and edited with the music, that high that we are experiencing as viewers, how fun it is, like, and you're like kind of caught off guard because you don't think it should be fun because the horrors of what could be happening, but you're along for the ride. And then that just insanely abrupt cut to when he asks to do it, that you just know uh, is not going to work out, and like that drop emotionally is so fucking severe.
Oh
Like you
yeah,
said, it's so insanely potent. Uh, wow, like
yeah,
it
yeah. When
really
he
is the like
as soon as he says, "Can I try?" my heart just sinks. Like
yeah.
you know that it's gonna go bad. Like this, so you're like you assume
You're
it's gonna be
preparing for
Mia.
it.
You assume it's gonna be Mia. You assume it's gonna be Mia. He goes, "Can I try?" And then you're like, "Oh fuck, it's gonna be the kid."
Yeah, and it gets low. And then the minute you realize who he's convening with, you go lower even again because you
Right.
know it's going to now cause the issue to occur. And oh my God, like just didn't see it coming, hits you in the solar plexus. You're not breathing for a
Yeah.
couple minutes. Wow.
Oh yeah. Just excellently written. Very well edited, as you said.
Man, we've gushed about this a lot. Can we
Yeah.
quickly just talk
Yeah.
about your feelings of the ending? and how you feel? Do you want
Oh.
to? We don't have to. You'd like your thoughts on like how to interpret some of the symbolism of the hospital scene.
Oh, geez, I don't even. I
Do you
think
have
I don't.
thoughts?
I don't. I think you can just
Oh,
go
okay. Well, so
go with it. Yeah.
it's not that I
I
have
didn't
like
watch it twice. I didn't get a second viewing
okay,
it. I really wanted to watch it today, to be honest. I didn't get a
sure,
chance to.
yeah. Uh, well, it's just like so in the hospital, like okay, I think that we're all in agreement that at some during the culmination, again, please, you're not listening to this without having seen the movie. Please do not do that to me. I would, I won't be able to sleep if I know that that's happening to anyone still
Sure.
listening. Christ, because we didn't really spoil anything yet, but I'm spoiling it now. She definitely jumps and realizes that she needs to make this decision to not do this to Riley. I think that's pretty clear because of him being there, and he's the sister didn't stop her from doing it and push her. She jumped her
Right.
decision. But then this afterlife type experience, this limbo that starts to that you don't realize is happening, but is happening. I think that you're seeing Riley and family get well. You know, the turning the quarter, the space, the distance, the time that it took since doing it did impact or weaken the demons that were undertaking him, and everything that she was seeing was her water demon that was always there.
Yeah.
Which sidebar, old Greg, definitely poor makeup choice early in the film, but forgivable. Um, you know. And so you see him getting better, but then I'm still not sure how I want to feel about the father because you see him there as well, and she's calling for him. He enters an elevator, and the elevator flashes the up arrow for a couple seconds before it tweaks out. The lights go out, and then it's done. So you can see it like he did die, and he's going to heaven. The arrow is symbolizing that. Like I like part of me, like I'm seeing that, and I'm thinking I want to put it together, but like part of me is also like, nah, he just got better and he was actually okay.
Hmm.
But I kind of am leaning towards the heavenly route, also because of her finding it. I wish that the story was done. I am really, really upset that there's going to be more of this world that we're going to learn about, to be honest.
Sure. Sure.
How do you feel about that? Or if you want to respond to my
All right.
interpretations or
So
observations.
so I'm gonna do a little comparison here. I feel like the very end, where she pops up in the talk to me,
Hmm.
um, I I felt a lot like the end of the original Candyman when Virginia Madsen had replaced Candyman and had popped out from behind the mirror at the end.
Sure.
I just like for that scene, just that one scene. I'm not saying
Hmm.
this is a Candyman ripoff. No, I just felt a little parallel there, and I'm
She
going
is
to
wearing a lot of yellow. It's very bee like.
I'm going to go on to say that that Candyman 2 and 3 were really terrible movies. So maybe Talk to Me 2 is a bad idea. Uh, Talk to Me
Maybe.
was okay. Like let's put it in the let's compare it to Candyman. The first
Okay.
Candyman was a masterpiece, and I would go out on a limb and say that Talk to Me is a masterpiece. It doesn't need a sequel. It was an excellent story.
Yeah.
We don't need to know. We don't need to know what happens next, guys. Don't tell us. It can only go down. You think your
Yeah.
ideas are good, but you need somebody there to tell you when your ideas are bad. And it's two brothers, right?
Yeah.
So they're
Money
like,
is a
yeah,
powerful drug.
no, that's true, that's true. But then let somebody else do it. Let somebody don't do it yourself. Let like
Sure.
Spielberg makes the first movie, Richard Donner comes in to make the second movie, and he shits all over it, right?
Yeah.
Let's
I mean, the only way, like, I know that from what I had heard, they had shot Duncan's story. Duncan's the intro character at the beginning of the movie,
Mhm.
who's first in the throes of what Mia is in the throes of within this movie. I think that they shot like a prequel type story, but I believe it's like a short. It's not a full length feature.
Okay,
I think that that's already occurred. So I'm like hoping, okay, maybe this is that, but maybe it doesn't seem like it is. It seems like that would be an add-in for a DVD.
right. Or
Seems like this is going to be a continuation
uh,
in the world.
you want to give us a sequel? Don't don't put Sophie Wilde in it. Like,
Don't put anyone of.
don't put
Don't put any of
anyone in
these
it.
people in it.
Put the
Make it a
arm on the other
completely different
side of the
story.
world. It's just some
Yeah,
other
different
people find
story.
it, and a different thing happens.
Maybe even different genre, or like
Yeah,
all of the motivations of how it's, make it like an actual ghost story, make it like an Insidious thing where it takes place inside the purgatory type world, or it's from the perspective of the demon. I don't fucking know, but you
yeah,
have to get away from this as far as possible to make it not a cash grab
yeah,
imitation
yeah,
that is just redundant,
yeah. Because
because
yeah,
there, you need
more
to
of the
say something
same.
new.
Yeah, more of the same is going to be bad. Um,
So that's the fear.
and that's it. Talk to me. I gave it an 8.
8 out of 10 for the Rodster.
Go see this movie, and we will see you next time for the podcast for the recently deceased. I'm Nate Roberts,
I'm Rodney Godek. Take care.
and we'll see you next time.
You wake up!